progress, moving on, stepping on, taking that step. Keep on moving on, stepping up, taking that steps. We will continue to take that step.
Over the moon,
continue.
We will continue
to take that step.
Gonna have fun. We will continue to take that step. Feeling brand new, getting it done. We will continue to take that step. Taking our step.
Taking that step.
Taking our step. Taking our step.
Kamet, a solstice experience. From the inner planes came a tale of the enlightened ones, a message to receive and to act upon. The ancient Kemetic way of life shows a world without suffering, a world without strife. My ancestors shared a plan and means to know how my spirit must be cultivated in order to grow. When I came in, I was free of sin. Now I will to go out sin-free without a doubt. From heaven I came, to heaven I'll return, while here on earth the divine way I must learn. My automatic response to every challenge must be peace. Thus my frontal lobe energy needs to be increased. Tratakam, Hum breathing, yoga, qigong, and the like strengthen my breath.
Days come back. A new ways come back. A new days come back. A new ways come back. A new day is coming. Where love will reign supreme. A new day is coming. On God.
Still there?
No.
Nope.
It exited when you left. First, I was going to offer you this veggie roti, which I've never heard of before.
Oh.
Thank you. Yeah, you don't want it. I did eat earlier, so I'm probably go back. So we'll probably go back. So you want something
Here
really
you
quick.
want.
I'm on a journey to find peace within my life. It's time to let go so I can climb to new heights. Nothing can stop me, I know. Gonna make it to the end. Love is on my side, and I'm sure I'm gonna win. I wanna know the truth. I wanna know the truth. I wanna know the truth. Yeah. Can you tell me? I wanna know the truth. I wanna know the truth. I want to know the truth. Can you tell me? It's been a long time that I've been searching for. Then one thing that makes my life complete. And I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna be strong. 'Cause in my heart, truth I'll always see. I wanna know, I'm gonna know. So many illusions, so much confusions. I need a strong foundation, a pearl of truth that separates the dark from light, from day and night. Help me change and sacrifice the wrong.
Check. How can I find the truth? Let me count the ways. I can focus on my ancestors to brighten up my day. I can listen to a sage or an elder's wise words. Try some deep meditation where the Most High is served. Because the truth is beautiful, like children playing in the park. Or inside of rhyme ciphers where genius is spark. Be the dark, the light, and all the time that's in between. And you can find mad truth inside a trance states and dream. Listen to that little voice if he telling you for true. And with a bit of divination, show you what you gonna do. Whether it comes abstract or the stone hard fact. Cause if it comes from God, it be the truth, that's that. Yo, no need to question, just learn the lesson. And ain't no stretching cause it's truth we're manifesting. Like what? Like what? One, two, I wanna know the truth.
Tell me, can you let me know? I need to know the truth.
Brooklyn, right? Okay. You can keep the music playing. So while we're waiting for our special guest to arrive, I want to say dua to everyone for being here today. Dua. Can you give yourself a hand? It's good to see you. Out of the box, the Zoom box. So real quick while we're waiting, if you have a journal, it would be my honor to sign it while we're waiting. No one from Philadelphia. So I'll be right over here. We'll be starting in a moment. What happened to the sound?
Higher consciousness. Let's go higher in our consciousness. Let's go higher, higher consciousness. Let's go higher in our consciousness. Let's go higher. The time's come for me to change the way I think.
All right. How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? Everybody seems to be able to hear me. You can hear me? Okay, you translate. How's everybody doing? Juanita. Yes, yes, yes. Welcome, welcome to Nicholas, Brooklyn. Oh, boy, I see so many beautiful faces from the past and also from Boxland. You're out of the box tonight, right? Anybody happy about that? We got from Zoom box to Zumba. Why am I hearing a echo? I think the projector is acting as a speaker. So when you get a chance, just turn it down. All right, this is a wonderful and very special night, very special occasion. We just need to fix that. Hold on one second. Mic check, mic check, mic check. So that's a reminder while we're getting our speaker corrected here, can we do a sound check online before we get started? Can you take a look and put up the little quiz? Can you all hear us online? Mic check online. Mic check online. 1 2 1 2. Any feedback online? Oh, you know what it is. Takara. Go to my computer and turn the sound off. Turn the volume all the way down. 1 2 1 2. Again, it's coming from my computer. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. There's no way to mute it. My computer. 1 2 1 2. There we go. I think you got it. All right. Let's start with a prayer. I'm only serious. Never cheer. Lord of all, give thanks for this wonderful day, for being here. We give thanks for life. We give thanks for the work of our ancient ancestors who left us the understanding that we are made in your divine likeness. And we assemble here today in the expectation that we will improve ourselves on our path to divinity. Droit de terre. We give thanks to God. Wow. So I want to welcome you. This is a very, very special day. Zakar, put on the first slide for me, please. It's a very special day for me personally because we're here back in Brooklyn, the County of Kings. And there we go. And we're in the store that I want all of you to pledge your undying support to for the rest of your days in Brooklyn. Nicholas. And this store actually was started by my cousin, Randolph Nicholas, who, it's very important, the work that goes on in these kind of venues, right? Because I can remember way, way back in 1979, 78, it was a store like this where, as a young person, I first saw a live copy of the Book of the Dead, the Papyrus of Ani, right? You remember that one? Yellow cover with Sebek, Anubis, and Pooh on the cover, right? And I can distinctly remember, and at my age, there's not too many things I can distinctly remember. But this I can remember, is that I opened that book and I looked at that writing, and it was very clear in my mind. I said to my person, or I heard the voice, I don't know what this is. I don't know how to read it, but I know I've seen this before. It's familiar to me. Now, I've seen Arabic script, Hebrew, whatever. I've seen a lot, But when I saw that, I knew that that was something special about it. And as it turns out, it's a major part of my destiny. But if it wasn't for stores like this that create that environment for us, then we wouldn't, a lot of our experiences we just wouldn't have. So my cousin started this enterprise long before this store, many, many years ago. And this is a picture actually of my cousin. Why is it on the side? Can you full screen this? You gotta come off stage. Go to that last option on the bottom. You should bring the presentation to the front. No? Yeah, it's kind of a bad picture. But that's him right there. And that's his daughter over there, Monique, who's carrying on the tradition. And they also have a location in Harlem, correct? Oh, excuse me. 2 locations in Harlem, right? And, it's funny how in life, people that you meet, right? Somebody once said the difference between you this year and last year are the people you meet, the conversations you have, right? And those of you in this audience know those people aren't all physical, right? But my cousin, certain things about him changed my life or set me on a certain trajectory, because I can remember when he started his first business out of the Navy, and I'm not sure what else he was doing, but he had a van and he would go around selling incense and stuff like that to stores. And a simple little thing he told me, he said, well, you know what my secret is? I don't eat until I get a sale. And that stuck with me. that dogged, persistence. And that's how he built his first business. And then he went on to build businesses, and now he's leaving a legacy for his children, and also an important legacy for our community, that we have African American owned businesses, right? So I want your pledge that when you need some charcoal, when you need some incense, whatever you need, this is the first place to go, right? And I've noticed that people have in the neighborhood have noticed the success of this store, and they've opened up close by. And as a lot of people do that are not in our community, they have a lot of backing. And you see all this inventory and all this stuff because they have the financial backing and support, and they can even lower their prices below what we can do, right? We used to have a health food store. When Whole Foods came to town, they were selling certain things at our cost. So we had to shut that down and go in another direction because it just wasn't feasible for grocery. So this is very special to me, that the first place I get to come back to Brooklyn, I get to bring my spiritual family to, I get to bring my spiritual teacher to, is Nicholas in Brooklyn. So please do what you can to support this location. The other reason why this is an incredibly special day is, without planning it, it just happened to be that my spiritual teacher is here. We refer to him as the Shechem or Shechem. That's the Kemetic title. Ra'u Nefer Amen, for 49 years, has been bringing truth-centered, we can't even just say African-centered, truth-centered spirituality to the world. And I've had the privilege of being with him since 1980. And every week he teaches. He never took a break and never charged a fee either. So if that's not an example of selfless service and spirituality, I don't know what is. But in 1985, something very special happened because of his giving spirit, his spiritual work, his meditation, his destiny, where he came from. Something magnificent happened. And it just happened to be in the Osset cycle, which we're in right now. In the Osset cycle of 1985, he came home from a ritual, from a meditation to Osset, and he received the Medu Neter Oracle system. 38 years ago, he received a revelation. He received an incredible revelation. And over the last 38 years, we have tried, trued, and tested this oracle system, right, and verified its veracity. So what a special time that here we are in Osset cycle again. And today is about time. Today is about cycles. Today is about understanding that the spirit communicates with us constantly, right? We're in Osset cycle. What's one of the biggest issues in the news? 7, that's her magical number, people died at the half moon. Well, that's her symbol, the moon, right? The spirit's always talking to us. And no, it doesn't mean Osset killed people. No, it means when that energy comes into its height, right? Whatever business needs to be cleared up, cleaned up, whatever's happening in society that is not the proper manifestation of that energy, you will see it happening in the news. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. But the fact that he was able to receive this oracle system in the Osset cycle, and this is the cycle when we are here talking about the oracle system and how to better ourselves in terms of our implementation, right? Because divination is more about prescription than prediction, right? It's about a prescription. So we're going to talk about that, but I just want to say, Duanater, to you, Shechem or Shechem, for your work, for this wonderful gift that you've given to the world. And our vision is that it's going to spread, right? It's going to, we're here to spread what we have benefited from over the last few years, many years. So I was fortunate in 1980. I was having one of those moments where I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. I was in business school. My path was to go into corporate America. At that time, the hot issue was, divestment. So I was involved in the divestment movement. I got politically active. I was like, I can't go into this path and work for corporate America, whatever. I need to figure out what to do with my life. I need to find God. I need to find spirituality. And 2 weeks later, I found the classes in a Sarasett, right? A flyer that was at our health food store in Manhattan, Upper Manhattan. So I was able to go to the classes, and I was fortunate to be a part of the first initiation in 1982. Tati, you wasn't even born in 1982, right? A long time ago. 1982. And that first priesthood group was in the priesthood when Shechem received the oracle. And I got a picture here of one of our great priestesses. Because back in those days, we didn't have these beautiful cards, right? We had to draw them by hand. And here she is. Some of you know her, Shechem Kaima Auntie. She was my first meditation teacher. I wanted to learn how to meditate. She was teaching the class. And here she is. She still has her deck, right? You see that? Hand drawn. That's the my aunt card. Right? So for 5 years before the oracle was published, we were experimenting. I mean, we tested it out. I think we were experimented on. Were we experimented on? Verified, right. Because we went through Obi, Keng Keng, Huti Fa, Gong Hi Fa Choi, Mahjong. We had a well-rounded education, right? In fact, I can remember the first reading that I did for someone, right? We first rolled this out. And at that time, the reading came with Proverbs. And the proverb that came out was, one does not inherit a clean behind. And I was sitting there with this young lady, and I was like, it's a tough moment. But I'm so thankful because I really gained an understanding of what that meant, you know. And today it's more relevant than ever because a lot of us are walking around and properly saluting each other. Hey, God. Hey, goddess. Hey, God man. Hey, God woman. Hey, melanated person, as if divinity and greatness is just something that we inherit, right? And if we take a close look, we know that that is not the case. So in other words, you got to learn how to clean yourself, right? You got to learn how to you have to apply yourself to doing the work to make it happen. So yes, that's Shechem Kaima Auntie. Come on, Sakara. Give it up for Sakara. That's my tech person back there. She got us live. A little slow on the trigger today. So we're going to talk about the oracle, not as a oracle, education, but it's integral to the calendar, is integral to the personal growth journal, right? And some of you got readings here today, right? All right, peace, brother. I see you. We got New Jersey in the house. Okay. Some of you got readings today, right? Anybody get a reading? Anybody still need a reading? Okay, you might still be able to get a reading. But the reason we wanted to do that was the journal starts off with your oracle reading, right? Because this wonderful oracle that we received, this 14 symbols with 5 variations, it comes up to a total of 70 cards. And it is, oh, I know what it is. We have a delay because I'm online. Yes, you got to move quick. There we go. Go forward. Go forward. Actually, go back. We found the best way to do this was I'm in the audience projecting on the screen so you don't see all the other back office stuff, right? So that's why there's a little delay. But this is an oracle system that has these 14 symbols in it, right? And these symbols are various gods, goddesses, angels, you know. So the first thing I want to do, especially for those of you who are not familiar with the Osirian tradition, the Kemetic tradition, I want to make sure you're up on your inoculation from the virus of colonialism, right? Which has postulated that our ancestors started out ignorant, worshiping the sun and the earth and the moon and the sky, and they thought because they couldn't conceive of the, principles of science that there were these animated entities, gods and goddesses, right? So they were polytheistic, right? Primitive, and now the world has progressed to monotheism. So those of you who see something like this, you see the oracle, you're like, oh, wait a minute, I don't know if I could deal with this. This is that pagan, primitive stuff. I want you to know that our ancestors in ancient Kemet understood that there's but one supreme being. And we call the one supreme being Nebuchadnezzar, which means the Lord of all. You have to go back a slide. Right? The Lord of all. So imagine yourself back in Kemet 6,000 years ago, and we were talking about the Lord. We're still talking about the Lord, ain't we? But we're the first people to say the Lord. The Lord of all is Nebuchadnezzar. So we understood there's one supreme being, only one supreme being. But in order to function in the world, you have to understand that the supreme being creates the world through a multiplicity of faculties, right? Just like we have a multiplicity of faculties within our physical being. And if you get sick, right, do you want to go to a general practitioner when it's a real serious matter? Or you want to find what? A specialist, right? We have a great hospital in Philadelphia called Will's Eye Hospital. My brother had a accident in college. He had a detached retina. He was able to go get surgery, what have you. This is a huge hospital. And everybody that works in that hospital is dedicated to one thing, the functioning of your visual system, your eyes. You're not going there to find out about your stomach issue or your reproductive issue. So we understand the mundane world that we have to specialize. We have to understand that this physical body is made up of component parts. And those component faculties, systems, organ systems have different roles to play. So we're not polytheistic. We understand there's one supreme being, but you can't function just with the one supreme being. You have to recognize that the supreme being has divided its being up, right, into various functional attributes. So this is not polytheism. This is syntheism, a synthetical understanding, or systemtheism, a system, like you have a digestive system, right? So these faculties of the supreme being are parts of one whole, and we call them neteru in Kemet. We call God Neter. It's another name for Neter, right? So neteru are the parts of Neter. And this is illustrated. Try to flip ahead to the tree of life so we can move along here. I'm giving you inoculation here. Now, some of y'all are good, right? Your immunity to colonialism, white supremacy is good, right? But some people are not. Keep going. Sorry for the delay here. But these faculties are organized in a beautiful structure called the tree of life, right? Which we call a Paut Neteru, which should be in here somewhere. Oh, we got to go back. Here we go. Right? Is anyone here has never seen this? Okay, beautiful. Yeah, that's the tree of life, the Paut Neteru. So this diagram is it's a geometrical presentation of the faculties of God. It gives you a hierarchical structure, interdependent, complementary, supplementary functions. It's a beautiful, powerful thing, and it conveys to you wisdom and understanding. This is the tree that many great, mostly men, right, in history, they sat under the Bodhi tree, or they sat under a tree, right, to receive knowledge. So Shechem was the one who, in this lifetime, was able to make the tree talk through the Medunate Oracle. Somebody got to be excited about that besides me. I know I didn't come down here. All of this, man. You're working me hard in Brooklyn, Shechem. So this is the tree of life. And the Medunate Oracle system enables you to know what faculty, what part of God's being, and you made in the likeness of God, right? In some traditions, they say, well, they say we're monotheistic, but there are these entities called angels. Well, wait a minute. If there are metaphysical entities called angels, right? Follow the logic, and God is omnipresent, then is not God present within that which you call an angel? Makes sense, right? And if God is present, is it a subordinate role? Is it a sidekick? Is it a co-pilot? Or what's up with that, right? Or is God the chief faculty within the angel? So we're talking the same language. God is manifested as this, as that, as the other, and God has made the world out of its one substance and is present everywhere, all at the same time. Right? So he made the tree of life talk. Let's go back. I lost my spot here. Through the oracle system. And the book that we're here to talk about today, the Personal Growth Journal, I call it Personal Growth Journal, so it'd be more understanding to people, but it's really a spiritual growth journal, right? Is the product of my many years of doing readings and counseling people, working on my person. And what I've noticed over the years for me and for many people is that we do readings, but we don't follow up on the readings, right? You know, um, and like I said before, divination is more about prescription and prediction. Usually, when we think about divination, do a reading, and the way that it's presented in movies and in media and so forth is just some kind of spooky, some kind of thing, and then it's a psychic thing, right? Like read me, tell me what's going to happen in my life, you know. Yes, you could definitely understand things, factors, and predict things that will happen based on a reading. But the most important function of the reading is to prescribe to you the changes that you need to make in order to be successful in your life. So think about it. You go to the doctor, and the doctor is a very good doctor, and he looks at your history. He looks at your DNA. He finds out what your parents died of and so forth. And he says, you know what? You have a predisposition to diabetes. Is that a prediction? Yes. Do you have to have diabetes? No, because he's going to give you a prescription. He's going to tell you this is what you need to eat. These are the nutrients you need to take. These are the herbs. These are the lifestyle. If you follow these things, then your diabetes will be held off. Maybe you still might have it, but late in life, or it won't be severe, or you can avoid it altogether. Right? That's called a prescription. But you went to the great doctor. You did your oracle reading. You put the prescription in your book, and you went about living your life. And when somebody asks you about your diabetes or health, you say, yeah, I think I got to watch out for that diabetes. I know that much. Got to watch out for that. Well, what are you doing about that? Let me go get that prescription and see that again, right? Did it happen to anybody? Oh, man, I'm the only person that happened to? I'm in the wrong class here. Did that happen to anybody? That you can't remember your reading? That you didn't do one meditation on your reading? That you even went to counsel and can't remember what the counselor said? Did that happen? It happened to almost everybody that came to see me. I would get calls. You remember you did the reading for me like 5 years ago? Do you still have that book? You wrote it down in? Can you find that reading? They're clueless. They know something like. So that's why we have this book. And I'm fortunate to have children, and they give me that call also. Like, what was I supposed to be doing with my career again? What was that reading again? How does that work? You're like, you didn't take any of the medicine at all. So the book is about taking the medicine, following the prescription, right? Keep it moving here. So the tree of life is talking through the Medu Neter oracle. And the Medu Neter oracle interfaces perfectly with ancient Kemetic spirituality. And ancient Kemetic spirituality, what our ancestors left us was understanding that you come to earth and you have a destiny. People are like, well, I got free will. Or is it destiny? Is it destiny or is it free will? It's both. It's like that prescription. You have a destiny. You have no choice that you're going to face certain issues in life because God has sent you to earth to manifest a spiritual power, spiritual quality. And we're made in the likeness of God, but the difference is God is all powers at once. We are God manifesting through time. So your powers are on a schedule, and since your powers manifest on demand, I'm not talking about Comcast or what do y'all have up here? It's not Comcast. What is it? Spectrum. On demand, right? You click the button, it comes, right? No, but that's your demand. But God has a demand. So that demand, right, for the power is on a schedule. It's on a schedule, right? And that power is only going to respond to the challenge, as we call it, to the trouble, to the problem, to the issue. I got issues, right? I got more issues in the daily news. All these issues, all these problems, all these situations, it's only going to respond when that issue is presented to you. And that's what your destiny is all about. So, spirituality is about living life upside down, realizing that we want God's power to solve our problems. God wants us to have problems so we can get power. And what are you going to leave here with? You're not going to leave here with your problems. We know that when somebody dies, we say, oh, at least they're in a better place. They don't have this problem anymore. Yeah, you came to earth to have some issues, some problems. So the problems you're not taking with you. But what you're going to take with you is the power and the wisdom that you develop through dealing with the problem. Is it beautiful? That's our way of life. So before you come to earth, God shows you your life, shows you your destiny, shows you where you're going to be and who you're going to interact with and what your critical issues are. Anybody ever had a deja vu? All the time, right? Because you saw it before. You were shown that before. That's the mercy of God. And if you can settle yourself in peace because you've cultivated that, then wisdom and power is going to flow to you. It's going to come to you or it's going to come through you. If it can't come through you, it's going to come to you. And it could be through anybody. Somebody on the street just start talking to you. Ever happened to you? Some strange, vagabond or whatever, just start talking to you. It'll come to you, right? If you are striving to live truth, if you're striving to live the law. So we understand that we have a destiny, and it's only fair you have a destiny because your life is going to be judged at the end of your life, right? Based on what your curriculum was. Just like you can't take a test in school unless you had some curriculum already established, right? Keep it going. Sorry about this delay here. I have to give the signal. So your destiny reading, when you open this book, the first thing it asks you about your destiny reading. If you haven't had your destiny reading done, then you want to get that done, right? And also today we have Medunate Volume 3, and we have the Medunate Oracle deck available so that if you haven't already, you have the ability to learn how to do your own readings, right? And one of the first readings you want to do once you know what you're doing is your destiny reading. Meaning, what's the most important spiritual lesson I have to learn in this life, right? In order to have a successful destiny, because you're not destined to fail. You're not destined to succeed either. You may have some successful projects, but the success of your life is up to you. It's up to what you do. It's up to what you learn. So the key readings, the key flaw you need to transcend, the key virtue to be developed, the spiritual law that you need to master, the power to be awakened, right? And this is the beauty of the system. But in the book, that's the first thing you write down. This is not where you write up your readings. It's not to replace that. This is for you to say, this year, I have an opportunity to take a step towards realizing my destiny, right? Or to fall back down into a negative spiral, right? This year. So every year, I want to start the year by refocusing my attention on what is my destiny. What are my critical flaws? What is my critical lesson I have to learn? What is the critical law of God that I must master, right? And how does that relate to various areas of my life that I'm experiencing right now? Because your destiny is like the theme of the book of your life. So no matter what chapter you're in right now, yet destiny is working itself out, playing itself out. Make sense, right? The other thing that the Meduniter Oracle system does is it gives us the astrological or planetary correspondence of the various Neteru, right, to the 7 planets, right? And that's where we talk about the cycles, the cyclical manifestation that your divinity is unfolding through time. And time is a force. Time is a powerful force. And time is the only thing we can't get more of, right? You can work on your health, take some nutrients, do some qigong, and get more energy, right? You can do what you got to do, get more guidance, get more power. Can you get more time? No, you can. And we all have an expiration date, you know. So you got to get it done. Now, astrology, that's my son, Kennedy, at the Brooklyn Museum. Right there in the Brooklyn Museum. Because you talk about astrology, people think it's a Greek thing, people whatever. Right, go to the next slide. You'll see in this, you can go to the Brooklyn Museum and look up. They have reproduced the Dendera, right, the Temple of Dendera, what was on the ceiling. I think it's in France now or something. They ripped it off the ceiling, took it to France. But it's at the Brooklyn Museum. And you can see the various figures of the constellations, right, the zodiac. So when you say Cancer and Sagittarius and what have you, this knowledge was understood way back in ancient Kemet. It's not a Greek or a Babylonian thing, right? We had this understanding. And we understood that the Supreme Being's powers manifested through these various constellations, right? You know, a constellation is basically a grouping of stars, correct? Right? So we understood that the energies that were emanating from those stars had a certain effect on your spirit, on your mind. Anybody here had some correct astrology? You had a good sidereal astrology chart, right? It's an amazing thing. It's an incredible thing that somebody could be born, and at that moment when they're born, something happens. Some amazing, miraculous thing happens. That when they take that first breath, that energy of that constellation is imprinted on them, on their spirit. That's why you can look at somebody's birthday, birth time, and predict things about their personality, predict things, you know, talents that they may have, vices that they may have, and so forth, right? If you're not familiar with that, you got to check that out. Because you got to go home and meditate. It's like, how does that happen? What is it that's so powerful that can shape a person's life that's occurring at the time that they're born? But the other thing that we understood through this teaching is that that's happening every day, isn't it? Because people are being born every day, and people's spirits are being imprinted with that energy every day. So what does that mean? That means that that energy is available in the environment for me to take a hold of. So I'm not stuck in my natal chart, right? And you all thought you were stuck in your natal chart? I used to think I was a Scorpio. Thank God I didn't tattoo that on my neck or something, right? Till I got I got to some sidereal astrology, found out no, your sun is not. First of all, that ain't your moon, but your sun is not in Scorpio. Your sun is in Libra. Thank God I didn't tattoo no scorpion on my body. And I'd be walking around. I'd be trying to explain it now, like, well, you know, I really have Mars in a very high position, and that's what, you know, that's what's going on with that. Keep going, Sakar. Right. So it doesn't stop with your natal chart. That's just your natal chart. Right? But the same energy, the same influence that was able to make such a powerful impression on your spirit is available every day, every month, every cycle. Right? And the vehicle of it, a strong vehicle of it, is the cycle of the moon. So one of the messages today is that you're out of time. Most of us are out of time because you don't know what time it is. It took me great restraint not to wear a big clock today. See, I know some of y'all's age because you know what I'm talking about, right? You don't know what time it is. But really, we're sitting here in January, and what is January? What is that? What is that reality? We're sitting here in 2023. We thought it started on the 1st of January, but it really didn't. It started on December 26th, right? Because the solar understanding of solar period is off. But it's the same way with the month. What you're calling January, there's no reality, no energetic reality behind that. That reality started at the new moon and went through the first quarter, the full moon, the final quarter, and then the next month started. So what you're calling a month or a moon is not the month. So this book is like a little planner, right? To organize yourself, to get things done, to be better, and so on. And a lot of us organize ourselves, right? We say, well, this month I'm going to do this, and that month I'm going to do the other, and this month I'm going to be, and I'm going to do this year. But we don't even know what time it is. Not to mention, we don't understand the dynamics of what makes the month so powerful, right? For a woman, we're human beings, right? The gestational period is 28 days, right? 28 days and some, I think. I had a lot of children, so I don't. Maybe I'm not the one to tell you about that, but but you know, it's in sync with the moon. Correct. It's another thing that makes you go home and say, how does God do that? Right? That the month, the lunar cycle, is in harmony with the gestational cycle of human beings. And your ability to create, to procreate, to recreate is mental as well as physical. So you can create a child, but this period is primarily for your mental recreation. We get caught in recreation. It's recreation. We have to change our mind every month. We have to cultivate our mind every month. So Shechem or Shechem, Ra'unef Amen, put us on this calendar. He gave us the correct calendar and put us on a schedule of understanding what power it is that is manifesting in a given month, right? See if you can skip ahead in the bottom to the Tree of Life quote. You can find it, right? What power it is that is manifesting every month. And this is a beautiful, critical understanding. So the moon, every month, the moon's going through this 28-day cycle, right? Starting at the new moon, it's a new time. There's a new energy. And if you connect your thoughts, your goals, your aspirations to this cycle, right, and you continually focus on them for a period of 21 days, you will have the highest possibilities of success in changing yourself. Does anybody need to change? You need to change your mind, right? You need to change your habits. You need to change the way you think about certain things. You need to change your perspective. And you need also to cultivate talents, not just a new perspective. You need to cultivate abilities. So from another perspective, the moon is a big magnifying glass that is projecting the energies of the constellations to the earth. Yeah, we're a little slow on the thing here, but there's a quote in the Bible. How many of you are familiar with it? In Revelations, it talks about the tree of life. Yeah. So in the book of Revelations, it says there's its tree of life, and the tree of life bears a fruit every month. So obviously, we're talking about something happening on Earth, right? So there's time, and every month, the tree of life bears a fruit. Anybody know a tree that bears a different fruit every month? No, we're talking about a metaphysical tree that bears a fruit every month. It says the leaves of the tree will be used for the healing of nations. But what is this fruit? Because we can't eat the leaves so much, right? That's for the healing of nations. What is this fruit? Fruit that you eat nourishes you, right? It gives you nutrition. It strengthens you. It empowers you. So every month there is a power of the spirit that is available for you to eat. But you have to know how to eat it. Make sense? So this is how the tree of life comes into time. Yeah, we're kind of off here. Sorry about the missyncing of the presentation. Not that part, but take my word for it. It's in the Bible, right? And that means it must be true, right? Yeah. But we've been working with this calendar for decades, and we've found that this calendar is so accurate. How do we know? We know because each of these faculties of spirit, they have a number, they have a color, they have a personality, right? They have categories of issues in life that they govern, and we see these issues of life manifesting in that cycle. Anybody can bear witness to that, right? We've seen it, you know? And the thing is that if you know, for example, that my Medunitaire reading says, for me to be successful in a relationship, I need to deal with, Sebek, what have you, you're going to find that issues and opportunities are going to come up in the Sebek cycle. Not the only time, don't be rigid about it, but you'll find that major things will unfold in the cycle of that netter. That's another reason I get a phone call. Another reason I made this book. Because my children will call me. What cycle is it? And I know why they're calling, right? What happened, right? Something happened. You laughing because it's the same thing, right? You know something happened, and they're trying to figure out, okay, what time is it? What day it is it? What netter is it that's responsible for this situation, right? So you can't replace the value of experience and decades of experience of seeing this unfold. So the question is, if you see that issues will come to a head in that cycle, that things will come up in that cycle, right? Then why wait and be caught unawares? Because that's what happens most of the time, right? Stuff happens and you're like, oh, let me do a reading. Oh, let me see. And then you see what was going on. So the idea of planning is to be able to know that that cycle of the issue is coming up, and to be able to plan to make sure that you do the meditations, to make sure that you follow the laws, to make sure that you do the truisms, the affirmations, to make sure that you plan your activities to coincide with the forces, the elements, the intelligence that is governing that issue. Does that make sense? So that's what the planner is all about. Okay, we're in the planner now. Go to the next one. I wanted to show the Osset. I really wanted to show the Osset cycle, Sakara, in the other PDF. If you go back for a minute. So the Osset cycle actually started, what was it, the 21st? The 21st of this month. The new moon was the 21st of this month. So what is this thing called January? If you said at the beginning of January, I make a resolution, and this month I'm going to put this into play, it's already, the energy is not there to support your will, right? Because the energy already started some days or weeks beforehand. Boom, there we go. So when you turn the page of the book, it doesn't say January, it doesn't say February, it says Osset, Heru, Sebek, Herugahuti, right? And the month does not start on the first of the Julian calendar, the Gregorian calendar month. You can see right here the month starts on a Saturday, in this case, on the 21st of the month, right? So now you can plan the cycle accordingly. Now you need to go to the other one. How bad? Right? You can plan the cycle accordingly so that you know what is coming up. Let's say that Osset governs, a very important issue with my child. And you want to help your child, right? So you need to do Osset meditations. You need to have wisdom and guidance from that part of the spirit so that you can help your child to deal with that issue or change that situation around, right? You might need to send some magical energy, right, to help your child. You pray for your children, right? You meditate for your children, okay? But you might not even remember. So this is why you get out your books with your readings in it, right? And your first step is you go through the months, and in the life area, you put, oh, this child's incarnation objective. Oh, this reading, I got a reading on what I must do to properly parent this child. Put that in that life area section of the book, right? Yeah, flip ahead. There's a life area section, right? So you put that in the life area. You might have Osset governing your career, your marriage, your destiny, what have you. This is a reminder for you, right? That I'm going to take, because I'm going to eat from the tree. I'm going to eat from the tree of life. I'm going to eat that fruit. So that Osset fruit is there. It's not that it's not available throughout the days, the weeks, the months of the year, but it's especially available in that cycle. It's scheduled for the earth in that cycle. So I don't want to wake up in Heru cycle and be like, oh, Man, my IOs are set. This critical readings are set. I didn't do one meditation, right? I didn't go back and look at my counsel. I didn't contemplate my life. I didn't do anything. You see, you missed the moment. Does that make sense? So that's how the journal's organized. It starts off with your key readings. Keep flipping. Go to the cycle page of the first one, which should be Sebek, right? There you go, bro. So you have the cycle next. And each day of the week also has that planetary energy, right? So if I want to do a powerful Sebek meditation, it doesn't mean you can't only you can do it anytime. But if you want to ride the wave, right, you schedule that on a Wednesday. If you really want to ride the wave, you schedule it on a Wednesday in Sebek cycle in the planetary hour of Sebek. Energy is concentrated for you to take advantage of. So that's where you do your, in our tradition, you also have the opportunity every month to do a reading for the month. It's your monthly reading. Well, so God can inform you about what specifically you need to work on this month to eat that fruit, right? This month to digest it properly. This month to really take advantage of that energy that's available. Might inform you about opportunities and things that you're not aware of that will be here for you this month, or things you need to be cautious about. And then the life areas where you write down, well, Sebek governs this in my life, Sebek governs that, and what are those readings, right? Because we forget, don't we? We forget. So this is your opportunity to go back and look at those areas that Sebek governs and the readings that you have, and then you set your objectives and your aspirations. Objectives is what you're going to do. You have a to-do list, right? Things you want to get accomplished this month. Aspirations is who you want to become. So what is it about Sebek? Or what is it about Oset? Or what is it about Heru that you know that you need in your life? That the readings are telling you need in your life, you have to set your objective that you're going to cultivate. You're going to focus on developing that. You're going to look at your flaws and your deficiencies as regards to that aspect of God and know that that fruit is available for you that month. Is it only available that month? No, I'm not saying that. But it's available that month. And most likely, if it's critical to you, it's going to come knocking on your door. And life is going to show you that you're deficient in that energy through the critical things that come up, through the problems that you have. Right? So this has been our experience. The other thing that we've experienced is that people have critical challenges, right, in the month of their, not only their destiny or other key readings, in the month of their clan. So we were organized by clan, right, by our great spiritual teacher, another great insight, which is based on your moon signs. If you know your moon sign, right, your sidereal moon sign, right, that's telling you that that's a powerful part of your personality. It's not the only part of you, but it's a strong part of your personality. And it's just been our experience that people's stuff happens in the month of their clan. Anybody here? Right? Look around. So you want to know that as well, because it's an energy that's very natal to you that can be a source of your assets and your liabilities. Right? There's a difference between personality and character. You have to uplift that energy. It's like electricity. You can violate the laws of electricity and put your hand on an open wire, and you don't say, "Well, electricity got me," or or it came after me. No, you say, "Oh, I violated the laws." There's rules as to how to handle that force the proper way, and you can harness that electricity to do the positive things you need to do in your life. So that's what the cycles of the month is all about. So the tree of life is unfolding through time, and it's a powerful force. And as you get in tune with this, which the book will help you to do that. I need you to go back to the New Waters story if you can. It'll help you to do that. I had a session with 3 of my older children, and because we had the book, they had to scramble, make phone calls, go get all their journals, and because what was that reading again? What's my IO? What's my career reading? What's my relationship reading? What's my yearly reading? They didn't know, right? So it forced them to put all of those key readings down. And you know one of the things that happened? You see a pattern right away. Like, oh, wow, wait a minute. I got the same card for this as I got for that. Oh, there's a pattern of this. And you start to see patterns emerge when you put the readings down together in kind of like a spread, like you're seeing what your key readings are. So you see a pattern. So it starts talking to you right away. And then you do a reading on the year. Oh, same reading I got this year was governing so and so. So showing you that same element that's influencing your success in that area of your life is going to come to the fore this year. Isn't that wonderful? Oh, now I know. What do I do? Oh, I got to do the meditation. I need to do the spiritual work with the law and so forth of that month. So it turned out to be very productive. And now they have a lot of questions and they want to know, okay, how do I follow up? How do I do this meditation? How do I understand this reading? Oh, I got to go back and read that. I got to meditate on that. I got to, it helps you with the process as opposed to putting a reading in a book, putting it somewhere, and you can't remember, right? So you're definitely not working on something you can't remember. Let's see where we are here. All right. So last message I want to give you before we have some questions and so forth is that the spirit communicates to you through signs, through messages, and there's things that God has for you. There's things the spirit has for you you don't know. You have no idea what God has for you because this is like a great movie that God produced, right? And who wants to be in a movie if you know the ending? So certain things are not revealed to you. You know that, right? I mean, you can look back on your career and see there's certain things you did that didn't turn out to be profitable, but then later on, it taught you something. It gave you something that helped you in the future, right? And some people don't get that. So they do a reading like, why did God tell me to do so and such and such? And it turned out this way. Just wait and see. You follow, you'll see why, right? So I've had a number of careers in my life. I'm trying to figure out my career. I think it's the priesthood, but it doesn't pay very well, right? So we got to do other things. So I've been in sales a lot, right? And I was in sales. I was selling insurance, and I was working for this company, and they give you leads, right? You see these commercials late at night. The federal government only pays you $265 when you die. Get this insurance, and blah, 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 right? And you make a call, you fill it out, and somebody shows up at your door, right? So that was me, right? Show up at your door. So one heteru cycle. Heteru is the aspect of God that governs she's water, right? Especially the river, the sweet waters, the river. So I show up at this guy's house, and his name is Earl Waters, and he lives on Water Street. You can't make it up. It's just I often say, how does God do this? And his address, I don't have it to show you, but I have it on the website. If you add the numbers of his address and you do the reductional mathematics, right? Like 1 and 5 is 6, and 6 and 5 is 11, and 1 and 1 is 2, or whatever, his address adds to 5. So I knock on the door. I say, hey, Mr. Waters, you must be all that. They named the street after you. Ha, 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 ha. He said, you think that's something? I'm in the water business. I said, what is the water business? So he proceeded to educate me. I didn't sell any insurance that day because I'm like, oh. He takes out a manual. He's telling me about the chemicals. I don't know if you saw the news reports, right? If you eat fish, most of the fish has PFOAs in it now, right? It's the forever chemical. You can't get rid of it, right? Chromium 6. These chemicals are in the water. They're in the oceans everywhere, right? So he's educating me about the poisons in the water and this, that, and the other. And the only way to get it out is put it through this intensive industrial purification thing. And this is going to be the big thing. This is years ago. It's going to be big, water purification and what have you. My ears are open because this is Mr. Waters on Water Street. Tell me about water. So I do my readings and everything. I'm like, okay, I'm going to check this out. So I fly to California where he showed me who the supplier was. And the guy's name I had to meet was Mr. Thames. Now there's a river called the Thames River. I'm like, this is unbelievable. So he shows me the business, and in California, the water business is big. I mean, it's everywhere. There's water stores on 4 corners of a block that he takes me to. Every corner had a water store. And he said, this is coming to the East Coast, going to be big. You're going to be big in this. I said, wow, okay. So, Mr. Thames, what do? Well, you buy the equipment, but you're going to need somebody to put the equipment together for you. I just happen to know a guy in Jersey who services that area. His name is Hudson. I'm ready to fall on the ground. I'm like, this is just unbelievable. How does God put that together? So Hudson, I meet with Hudson, and he comes and we do the thing with the city and everything we had to do to get the equipment and put this thing together. And, that's how we got into the water business. I had no intention of doing that, but it's been a blessing to our lives. And this is our water store right here. This is our industrial scale water purification system right there. Process up to 4,000 gallons a day. And we supply water, purified water, for the community. And at the time we started, there were 6 water stores. It's down to us and some Russian guys. The rest of the people are out of business. But we're still in business. And then we learned about water from Shekel Shekel. We talk about, your body cries for water and how we're dehydrated and all these illnesses masquerade, or not masquerade, we don't understand this dehydration. We don't drink enough water. So now this becomes part of our advocacy for ourselves and our community to teach people to drink more water. And then we learn about the magic of water, that water takes on the, structural shape based on the words that you put around it. So we design our bottle, and our bottle says peace and love and compassion and harmony. And people love this. Just something. This water just tastes so good. And you're like, mm-hmm. And we meditate over the water. We do rituals every once in a while and energize it and everything. So this is just an example I'm sharing with you that if I hadn't been taught about the symbolic language of the Spirit that's always talking to you, it's there to warn you about things you're doing that have you on the wrong track, and it's also there to bless you with opportunity. I had no idea of doing this kind of a business, but God, Spirit, was able to give that to us. Right? So in your book, you see some of those correspondences, but the book is not to be comprehensive, right? You have all the volumes of the Meduniter, and we have Meduniter Volume 3 with us here today, right? You have the classes. We have a link tree for those of you online where you can find out about our classes, how you can learn about this powerful way of life. But the point here is that you take the Word of God that you receive and you see it unfold through time. And your planning of your time, your understanding of your time. Time is something you can never get this year back. Once this year is gone, it's gone. 2022 is gone. And you had all of those fruits that came every month. Did you eat it? Did you absorb it? Did you even know it was on the table? You didn't even know. But now you know. Right now, the Osset fruit is on the table. It will nourish you. It will make you more caring. It will make you more intuitive. It will make you more devoted, right? It will help you to heal yourself, to heal others, to cultivate a strong family, a community, or what have you. Look at the horrors and tragedies that's going on all around us in this world. And it's because we are spiritually depraved. We are malnourished from the Spirit of God. Why we are functioning like intelligent animals, humans, right? Because we don't know any better. So this fruit is rotting on the tree for the majority of people in the world because they don't even know that there's a tree. They don't even know that there's a schedule of powers. You need them all. You're not any one of these Neteru. You are Oser. You're made in the likeness of God. You're the God consciousness, and you're supposed to be able to put these Neteru on like you change your clothes. Right? And when you need to be Heru, you can be Heru. When you need to be Oset, you can be Oset. When you need to be Heteru, you can put on your Heteru clothes. Right? That's who you are. So eat from the tree of life every month. Thank you so much for coming out. So any questions or comments online? We thank you for being with us online. Sakai, you want to put up the screen share with the course, please, first? How many people here have taken the winter solstice course online? Oh, that's why y'all here. What do you think about the course? Where's the enthusiasm in Brooklyn? I live in Philadelphia now, and they're getting ready to tear up the city. If they win tomorrow, people are very hyped. Y'all are not hyped in Brooklyn? Y'all don't get excited much? Is there a haze over New York? What's going on? Where's Brooklyn at? It's kind of weak. Anyway, that course is phenomenal. That course is phenomenal. I used to say I got angels on my iPhone or angels on my Android or whatever, right? You just click a button. You click a button and you have this wonderful wisdom. Here it is, and it's still available. So if you haven't taken advantage of the class, it's called the winter solstice, right? Winter solstice season, you know. But I think everybody here would agree that the information that is in this course and the guided meditations that are in this course, right? And the truisms, the affirmations based on the laws that are in this course don't go away after January 30th, right? They don't lose their power and their application. It's the foundational basis. And some of you, I know we spoke, you're interested in Osar said, how do you become a member? How do you get involved? That's the beginning, right? The beginning is to go through and do those scripts. You learn how to write a meditation script, right? It's powerful, isn't it? You see changes? Anybody see changes? Oh, it's so quiet. Check what I can do. What's up in here? Yeah, you should have medicated people at the door. Hey, brother. Yeah. So this is first time out. Oh, everybody's used to being in the box at home. I got you. You don't make noise at home on Zoom. You just sit there. You don't say nothing because nobody can hear you. I get it now. You're still in the box. You're out, people. Hello. Oh, okay. Whew. There they go. That makes sense. That's what it is. Everybody's been boxed in. So this is not over. This class is still available. It's $49, and there's so much information, right? I know a lot of y'all didn't finish all that. You know it's true. You didn't write all them scripts. You didn't do them truisms every day, all the truisms every day, did you? There's a part in the book where you got to keep yourself accountable, right? You got to, mark off the days. So this work does not go away, you know. This work is continuous. It's not too late for you to get that, for you to catch up on that. So you go to the winter solstice. Put up the Meduna tear, please. Robert Neff, man, the first is here, y'all. Oh, is Philadelphia in the house? Okay. Oh, Philadelphia is quiet. There's a whole bunch of y'all. Is Philadelphia in the house? Yeah. Brooklyn in the house? How about the far Bronx? I used to be up there. Quiet in the boogie down. Oh, okay. Anybody else from out of town? New Jersey's in the house, right? All right. So we have Medunite Volume 3 here, right? We have the book presently, and we have the Oracle cards here. So if you need to get that, you can pick it up while you're here. And you'll also have an opportunity to have your book signed by the author, by Raul Nefalman. How about that? If you're online with us, we have a site that we put up. You're looking at it right now where you can buy a bundle. You can get the two of them for our online folks, $75, and no shipping fee at all. Or you can buy them individually. So that's available right now. The URL is in the chat, right, Sakara? You put it on the screen too. The URL to get your book. Do we have anybody online there, Sakara? We are on 6-7 Facebook pages and on YouTube right now. So welcome everybody that's online. Brooklyn sends you love, I think. All right, there it is. Brooklyn sends you love. We didn't forget about you. You can go to this website right here and you can get your book and your cards, and we'll be following up with you. Put the link tree up, Sakara, and the link to the link tree so that you can see where around the country this wonderful organization that is the product of the work of Ra'un Nefer Amen is available throughout the country. You can get in touch with people you can talk to about this way of life. You can get some readings done. You can find out how to get some classes. You got our link tree? Okay, there it is. So yeah, you go to linktr.ee/Osirian. Okay, and we'll put the actual link in the chat. So at this point, I would like to ask if Shekem Shechem Ra'u Nefer Amen might give us a few words on this wonderful anniversary, 38 years this lunar cycle that he received the Medu Neter Oracle.
Thank you. Thank you for your energy. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 for testing. Are y'all hear me well? Yeah, this is the microphone on. Okay. I speak louder just the same. This is almost like when we were back at our temple, right? For those of you who were here with us. And since the pandemic, this is my first time at a live event. So I want to thank all of you for coming out and sharing with us, you know. And I like, you know, if somebody wrote on the Bible, the Old Testament, New Testament, instead of the Old Testament and the New Testament, it says the ultimate success manual, then everybody will know the Bible backwards and forward. You follow what I'm saying? So it's important for you to know, you know, how to be successful, meaning to make happen whatever you set out, you know, you put your energy, your dreams, your hopes, you know, into projects, family, job, health, or whatever. You do it for success. Nobody says, you know, I'm engaged in this project. I don't ever fail. You are in it for the success. You see that? You know, and one of the first things that people in the success business, those are schools and some religious organizations and so on, one of the first things they tell you is that to be successful, you really have to get that intellectual training, and et cetera, et cetera. So I like to start off by telling you how, you know, what I consider my first path to success. You see that? And it has to do with my journey back to Kemet. I was in the, you know, kindergarten. No, first grade, right? Kindergarten is a different story. They used to put me in detention all the time. So the first grade, you know, and I'm from Panama. Yes, I'm an immigrant. Okay. uh, so the school was, you know, Spanish and Catholic and so on. So we had a nativity event, you know, and part of the event was, you know, when the three kings came from the east to visit Jesus, you know, and so on. and they were looking for kids to play the Three Kings. And so one of the teachers says, "Oh, Rogelio, that was my other name, right? Rogelio can be the Black King from the East." And she said, and but the reason that I'm saying that is that his birthday is January the 6th, and that was the day that three, the three kings came to honor Jesus. And in the Orthodox Christian Church, January 6th is Christmas, correct? That's their Christmas, and in many parts of and so on, and so that's their New Year, right? I'm just going to deviate a little bit from the story to add to something that Oda said. Where he said that people said that January 1st is the beginning of the year, but these pundits, they're all confused. The calendar is all mixed up, y'all. Listen carefully. December means the 10th month. But it's the 12th month. So why are you calling the 12th month December? November means the ninth. November is the ninth. So why are you calling the 11th month of the year the ninth month, November? October is 8, and so on goes. So I just want to make you understand that why are you following this man? He's all confused in simple things. That's like you calling your dog a horse. How are you going to know what time it is if you don't even know the correct name of the month? Are you with me, folks? Let's get back to the story about how, you know. So, I took part in that nativity scene. Okay, I was, actually, I was supposed to be in the kindergarten, but a little precocious, so they put me in the first grade when I should have been in the kindergarten. But I was reading it from the time I was 3 years old, before I'm saying. So, in the third grade, right, that was my first time studying history. And the first day of the history class, they said that civilization began in Mesopotamia, and the oldest civilization in the world was Egypt. When I heard the word Egypt, I saw fireworks go off. And, fireworks go off. This was like 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning in school. Next thing I know, it's 7 o'clock in the evening, and I'm in my mother's bed. I said, "What happened? I was just in school a while ago. What am I doing here? What happened?" And she played it off, gave me some soup. She had my favorite soup, and I forgot about everything, like what happened to that whole chunk of the day, and they never said a word about it anymore. But the thing is that every time from that day on, I heard the word Egypt, I had this strange feeling. You know, you remember when the King Tut exhibit was at the Brooklyn Museum, right, King? And I attended, and I felt as if, you know, tons of weight was being put on my chest. I couldn't breathe. And I heard a voice as clear as you hear my voice now says, "Tell these people that these are not museum pieces, they are living. They are living entities." If I'm saying here to talk to those who will listen. And I had to run out of the museum. I felt I was going to die. I couldn't breathe. And so, this Egyptian thing's been following me all along. You see that? Okay? The Medunachurch Oracle cards came to me in an 11-hour meditation. I was in trance for 11 hours, drawing each card. Had bought a blank deck of cards. Like they were like playing cards, but they were blank. And I had them sitting in my hutch for several months. I don't know why I bought them. You see that? Then I had uh, about 24 watercolor pens. Remember Woolworths? Telling your age now. I bought a set of watercolor pens, and they're sitting right on the hutch next to my blank cards. I bought them for the kids. The little kids drawing and everything, but I never gave it to them. I just forgot about them on the hutch. And that day, following the Osset meditation, here I am staring. I'm seeing the pictures of the Nateru and the cards, right? They're dancing in front of my eyes. My eyes are wide open. I'm awake. I can hear what's going on in the room, but I see these cards dancing in front of me, and I begin to draw them. And it took me from about 5 a.m. until 4 p.m. drawing each of them, and I realized I was receiving an oracle. So when I was finished, you know, I did a reading. Who sent you? I got Tehutetep, the faculty of wisdom within you. I said, well, why are you here? It says, Geb tu ma'at hotep. I came to bring order and abundance and peace and blessings to the earth. You see that? And I said, well, why you came through me? I got Ma'at hotep. You see that? So I drew them. I made templates. I gave them to the priests and members for them to draw, make up their own cards, and for them to test them. You know, I was never the kind of person to run to publish something. You follow what I'm saying? That's the worst thing you can do. You get some revelation and you run to publish it and make money. No, I wanted to make sure that this thing was authentic, speaking the truth, and things of that nature. I gave it to the priesthood. This was 1985 to 1990. And from that 5-year experience with verification, you see that, I decided, well, let's give it to the world. That was Divinity Volume 1. That was, I think, about my 6th or 7th book. My first book goes back to 1974. You see that? But what's this oracle thing about? Okay, ora means to speak. It is something through which God speaks to you. You see that? But why is it important? Why is this so important? Is it something that you can elect to do, or should you do? You see that? This is an important way of looking at this. If you go back into the history of ancient Egypt, you find that kings from all over the ancient world, you know, from Persia, from Greece, and so forth, would come to Egypt to get counsel from the oracle of Egypt. You see that? Okay? Black Egyptian priestesses, and I say that because there were white Egyptian priestesses later on in Greek and Roman domination of Egypt. So the black women went and set up the Oracle of Delphos in Greece. And that's how the white people got into divination and things of that nature. You with me? But why is this so important? Is it mandatory? What if there if there's something that you could that you could use that will give you the best chance of success in whatever is it that you are engaged in? And let's talk about important things like your career, your marriage, your education, your health, liberation of your people, guiding your people correct socially, right? And leadership is very important. And it's lacking in the world, especially in the black community. And the white community too. There's no leadership. So what if there's something that could give you the highest level of success? There's such a concept. You want to go to college, you got to take the SATs. That's a place that you can go. They don't guarantee you success, but they guarantee you, according to you, your highest level of your success. You see that? You go to Kaplan for them to guide you. You're not supposed to just simply without guidance. You want to be a lawyer, you got to take the LSAT. You want to be a doctor, they have these places that you can go that will educate you and give you the highest level of success, guarantee you the highest level of success that you are capable at that time. So what if there is a Kaplan, quote Kaplan, quote, quote, that you could go to be prepared for your best level of success in your marriage, your career, your job, your legal, situation, your health. You got cancer. Okay, which is the best doctor, the best hospital? You follow what I'm saying? The best therapy. And so forth, because you know why? While the therapy might help Joe, it might not help you. And so on, right? So what if there is such a place? And the answer, of course, you know what it is, where I'm coming from, right? I'm very transparent right here. The answer is that there is such a place. You see, God makes man with the full knowledge that man is limited in his ability to know, aren't we? We are limited in our ability to influence each other. We are limited in our ability to achieve things, right? See, remember Flip Wilson? Don't blame me. The devil made me do it. If God makes man limited in his ability to know, come on, let's make this personal. You want to be successful in your career, whatever you're doing. The first thing you got to write down is that, not where do I see myself 5 years from now, my mission, vision statement. But the first thing you got to write down is that I know that I am limited in my ability to know, and I'm on the side of not knowing hardly anything. Write that down. I know that I am going to need people's help, and I am limited in my ability to influence people. As a matter of fact, truth is, I turn off most people. Come on, let's be truthful now, right? Let's own up. Let's own it. I know that I am limited in my ability to make things happen. As a matter of fact, I mess up everything. Those are the things that you write down. Now, your mission, vision statement for the next 5 years. And who can I get, to help me, and what course I can take or whatever. You got to first start off with your limitations. Okay, now, so when you write those things down, don't sit down and cry and get tears all over the page. Tell yourself, I know there is a someone. I know there is a someone who is unlimited in its ability to know, in her ability to influence everyone, because she is omnipresent, meaning present in everyone and everything. I know there is a someone who is omniscient, knowing all things and knows that I'm limited. You follow what I'm saying? And I know that there is a someone that is omnipotent, unlimited in the ability to achieve goals. You see that? And that someone will not be loving, will not be God according to the definition of God, if they did not put, you see, a solution to my impotence, my ignorance, and my limited presence. Otherwise, that's a masochistic, that's a hateful being. I know some traditions do say that God is, vengeful and things like that, you know. But that's not, you never find that anywhere in the Kemetic scriptures. Important for you to come through your ancestry, for you to come through your people's story, not somebody else's story. It's important for you to understand that, my beloved. You see that? Okay? So you want to start off your day and live your day and go to sleep with the knowledge that there is a someone that is the answer to all of your problems, to avoid problems and to achieve your goals. You see that? Now, the thing is that you have to be able to communicate with that someone. You know, people do that. You know, they say, God, you know, I need some help here. And you wait to see if you can get an answer, some words. You don't know. There are some people who come and say, well, the Spirit of God told me so and so. The Spirit of God told me so and so. And when you catalog it all, you come to the realization that when people say the Spirit of God told them, there needs to be some fact checking. But I'm going to tell you something, okay? One of the great things of our African traditions, the Babalawo from the Ifa, you know, courts of knowledge, will tell you that this Ifa oracle is 100%, you know, truthful. You see that? The I Ching, the great oracle of the Taoists of China that the Chinese today reject. You see that? The Meduniter oracle, which came to my person and has been verified by the priests and priestesses, you know, over for 38 years all around the world. You see that? You know, helps you to understand. It gives you the truth. You see that? And it's up to your level of understanding and your sincerity in living the counsel that will determine your level of success. You see that? And it doesn't just simply follow that, oh, I got a direction for, you know, what to do. You see? That direction for what to do, you see, has to do with one of the 11 or several of the 11 faculties of your spirit. You see that? Meaning your spirit is a complex entity, just like your physical body. Your physical body has a digestive system, a urinary system, or reproductive system. It has all these different systems in them, you see. And we know that because of the study that King Pepi the first, you see, did. He was the longest lived Egyptian king and the longest lived of the kings of antiquity. He was also the first physician king. You see that? And then later on, you know, European doctors and scientists have verified that we have all these systems within us. But one of the things that the European has not caught up with are the system of the spirit. The spirit is made up of different faculties and systems that we call the neteru. You see that? Which the Greeks, the the Hebrews, and the Christians, you know, translate as angels. You see that? And Oro was talking about that the angels are part of God. Actually, you know, the word angel comes from, you know, the Canaanite language, which is the birthplace of the Hebrew language. And in the Canaanite tradition, the name for God is El, El. You see that? Okay? So angel is angel appended to the name of God. It's an aspect of God. So they call Mika El, Rapha El, and so on. You with me? Okay? And then now another name of God, that power name is Jah. You know, Yahweh. You with me? And of course, the rest of us know everything about Jah as we smoke over the name. Hey, but hold on. Let me tell you something. You see, we smoke, we drink to get into trance because that middle state of consciousness is where the inner and the outer part of our being come together. The masculine and the feminine part of our being come together to produce the effects and events in our lives. You with me? And when we don't have, you know, the knowledge of how to meditate to make things happen, we crave. We have a craving for that state of mind, that state of consciousness. And because nobody has taught us how to breathe and chant certain words of power into that state, we try to get it through alcohol and through, the weed, which is, as long as it's not abused, nothing wrong with it, and as long as it doesn't come with fentanyl and so on. Okay? So the whole thing though is you got to know that in its mercy, God Almighty, male, female, mother, father, God, which are tef mut nature. Because in the ancient African tradition, God is not a man. God is man and woman. As a matter of fact, in the most ancient of times, refers to when God was a woman. Okay? Because the power side of God is the female side of God, the spirit. That's why you don't hear much about the spirit in Western religion. You see that? But that's another story altogether. The point that I want to make to you to understand is that the word of God, not the word of man, is what will guide you to success. And you have to learn to take the word of God into trance. Just not get a reading and go about your business. When you get a reading, whether it's Ifa reading or Medina Chair reading, I Ching reading, Tarot doesn't have the single set to give for God to speak to you, to guide you. It's too Western, too pedestrian. The Medunature Oracle speaks of your divinity, of your man godhood, your woman godhood. Okay, I Ching speak about your sagehood. So it doesn't go as deep into your spiritual life as our African oracle of the word Medu, meaning word, like the Odu of the Yorubas. You see that? Okay, that's what the Yorubas call the symbols of Ifa, the Odu. We say Medu, same root there. And Neter means God. Medu means the word of God. And Medut, Neter, the images of God. What images? When you see yourself living the laws of the 11 parts of your spirit, the Potnateru, you see a God woman, you see a God man on earth and in this world. That is important because you didn't come to this world to be successful as a dentist, a rap singer, okay, or an athlete. You didn't come into this world to be a doctor. You didn't come into this world to be what everything of this world that you can think about. You see, there's a very important scripture called the Book of Knowing the Transformations of Ra and Overthrowing Evil. Okay, which is the book of it's our creation story. And in the story it says before the first day, meaning before creation got started, you see, God could not even call itself creator. And the first act that God did was to establish the concept of law, ma'ah, the concept of the law to create a solid platform upon which to stand to create the world. Meaning, you can write volumes about this. Meaning that God is saying, I cannot create unless the law, the concept of the law, at least, is established. Our scripture did not say, and God said, let there be light. No, there has to be a law governing light. There has to be a law governing creation. And that story is not the story of the creation of the world is a story of creation, meaning that you are the image and likeness of God, and our mythic knowledge of creation is your story of how to create the things in your life. You want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be whatever you want to be, you must first, above everything, establish the concept of the law in your life. The way God Almighty, Mother, Father did. You see that? Is that clear to you? And then from God 1 became God 2, meaning that the process of creation is not creation but of division and subdivision. The one spirit subdivides itself into the many parts of the spirits, of the spirit. Clear to you? It's not polytheism. The same thing, your body comes from one cell that was created when your father and mother cells came together, joined up, and then it subdivided to create the trillions of cells that make up your body. And that's what our great understanding, thousands of years in the past, of creation is all about. And you don't know that because you've been reading somebody else's funny book about creation. You don't know it. You don't know yourself. You don't know how to be successful because you think that your success depends on who you know and what degree you have and what skills. Let me tell you something. Unite yourself with God. And if you need a degree, you'll get it. Unite yourself with God. If you don't need a degree, you make it without it. I don't have a degree. I went to school as a piano major. I went to minus, college of music. Also played the concert pianist. Okay? And I walked out 3, 4 months before I could get my bachelor's in music. Because I was so fed up with the racism that was going on at Juilliard and at Mannes. You know how they treated the black musicians and so on. And I just walked out. I said, I just went to popular music. And I did it for a while too. You see that? Until, I run into Sun Ra. How many of you know Sun Ra? Yeah, man. And, he was teaching, well, actually, he was visiting a school in Harlem called the Black Arts Theater, right? The Black Arts. Huh? No, Black Arts Theater. Okay? And that was it was a class for learning how to write poems and plays that Imam Baraka created. So they invited me to come and teach piano there, and I met Sun Ra, and he says, "Man, I write music with E. G." I said, "Never heard of that music theory system." He says, "Not a music theory system. It's the ultimate source of inspiration." I said, "Okay, I love that." So I ran downtown, because there was no such bookstore in Harlem at the time. So I bought, a book on E. G. back then, and the first thought that came to me was ask the oracle, why you care, what's your destiny? And boy, oh boy, I don't know why I did that. I got the 26 hexagram top line stress into 11 hexagram. Told me to give up the music and devote myself to uplifting myself spiritually. I said, say what? Struggle with that message for 3 years. But during that time, people are right. You get a phenomenal message. You don't follow it, but then you're doing readings for everybody else. People come back and say, man, that reading you gave me, man, is on the money. So and so's happening. My life is taking off. And I'm sitting down there like, I'm not doing it. I'm still playing, Chopin sonatas and the Beethoven piano concerto, preparing myself for my, Carnegie Hall debut, and so on. And then one day it hit me right between the eyes. It says, you're helping all of these people because it's the word of God. Word of God. I said, there it is. The word of God. And I've since then, and I gave up the music. And since then, I've had all kind of things happening in my life, to show me that no matter how bleak things look, always turned out the right way. And but it's all more than anything else, there was an increase in understanding, an increase in compassion and peace, and helping others to be the same. So, my beloved, your most important agent of success in this world is your relationship with God. Okay? And the Medunate Oracle gives you the ability to have a conversation, a two-way conversation. Praying is good, but praying is a one-way version. There's no con in praying. You talk to God, you don't get an objective answer. You don't get an objective answer that you a blueprint that you can follow. I'm not putting praying down. Some people pray to God and they get good results. But lots of people that pray to God and don't get good results. You see that? They begin to, the thoughts that drift into their mind, they begin to interpret it themselves. But if I go to the oracle and it says, Oset to Eterutem, that's an objective answer. You see that? So you go to, to the Babala, you get Osana Kode or whatever, right? Or, one of the Ifa, Odu, whatever. That's an objective message. And this is what this great African tradition is all about. It gives you a message, you know, and it tells you, just doesn't tell you, well, do this and you'll be successful. You got to meditate, you got to live true according to the message that you get. You see that? It tells you what gemstones to use. Whether you're going to use sage, or, and then whether you're going to use popcorn or mango slices. You arouse and activate the heteru part of your spirit with mango slices. You activate and arouse the cerebral part of the spirit with popcorn. Or absolutely. Why? Because you see, everything physical is the effect of something spiritual. The causal world is a spiritual world, and the world of effects is a physical world. So causation begins in what? The word of God. That you see, if you follow, you are then engaging and entering into personal relationship with God. You cannot have a personal relationship with God if there's no dialogue. So you got to expand your understanding of what is it to work with an oracle. You see that? Okay? The I Ching, I didn't have Madunta then, told me to give up the music. Took me 3 years. Back then I was working with the Poindexter brothers, right? Tim and I between love and hate. I was working with them and so forth. And when I said, look, I'm leaving the music industry, they said to me, man, you're crazy. And that was the confirmation I needed. They said, you're crazy, Ray. They used to call me Reggie. You're crazy. And that's the confirmation that I needed. You see that? And so he says, a thin line between love and hate. You follow what I'm saying? And I so understand there's a thin line between truth and lies. You see that? So to close this, session with you, okay, just don't go and read up on spirituality. Just don't go. You can consume all of my 7 volumes of the Medunate. You can buy all the books on the Golden Dawn's Rosicrucians, all of that kind of stuff, and the books on yoga or whatever. and it will help you heartily until you establish your personal relationship with God. You got to partner with God because you're ignorant, you are limited in your power, and you are limited in your ability to influence others. You see that? And just singing that song, reach out and touch somebody, it's not going to do it. You touch others, you get others to help you, and you help them spiritually through the medium of God. And you cannot pray for somebody unless you are, you see, working with God. You see, and this is one of the greatest things of the ancient Egyptian tradition of our ancestors. You see that? Is that they said, look, God needs man. God made man in order to come into this world, experience life. See that before the world is created, God in His Scripture says, "I was one without a second." There cannot be more than one supreme being. So God, before the creation, God is one without a second, all alone. It says it in our Scriptures. So God could not experience life. There's no one to talk to, no one to interact with. So God creates through subdivision, not by addition and multiplication, but through subdivision, God then creates, you see, the world of animals and humans and trees or whatever, and enters its creation to experience life. But when God comes through the pig and God comes through the ape, God cannot experience itself as creator because those vehicles lack the level of intelligence and the level of consciousness where God can recognize itself as God. So the only creature through which God can recognize itself as God and live as God is man. And that's why God created each and every one of you in this room tonight. I'm not talking about generality. You are here tonight because you're supposed to be here tonight. You're here tonight because God sent you. You understand that? That's why you're here. Okay? Because it's a statement that says that, many shall be called, but a few will be chosen. Okay? So it's not a few will be chosen, a few will choose. And you see, that's your freedom. Nobody's going to compel you to choose. That's an appeal to your understanding. That's an appeal to your sincerity. You see that? So what I'm trying to say to you, my beloved, is that you see, God needs you. God needs you to do what? To transcend your human nature. The word human means humus, earth. So the word human means the humus man, the earthly man. So why would they concoct to make such a word for man? Humus or earthly man. You see that? Even though humus is that black fertile soil, melanated soil, it's not enough. You're a God being, a divine being. Homo sapiens is not the end goal of creation, it's Homo spiritualis. And that Homo spiritualis already lived in Egypt. All those Egyptian men and women that appended the title of Osir to their name were people who fulfilled and completed their evolution. And that's what you're here for. Okay, what for? Just to give God the experience of experiencing life and enjoying life. Can you do that for God? Can you do that for God? God wants to come through you to experience life as the creator of this magnificent universe. God wants to come through you and look up into the skies and say, yes, I created this. And what will you get from it? Success in everything that you set out to do. My beloved, peace and blessings to all of you.
All right, we want to thank Shechem or Shechem, Round Nephi meant so much for coming out. And he has books, the Immunitaire, Volume 3 back there before you leave. and other titles. And if you'd like to have them signed, you want to get the yellow sticky, put your name on there, and then he will be seated over here. Oh, and we have the Medunitaire cards here as well. I know some people were looking for those. If you're online, we have them available. I'm about to. Swat. And one more thing. Could I have Becky Ra Samen come up here? And can somebody hand me a calendar, please, over there? Wow. Ooh. So, again, it's the teachings of Shechem or Shechem and his guidance that enable us to put this calendar together, which gives you the correct cycles of the year. And this beautiful artwork that you see in the calendar is the product of this brother, Becky Rasaman. So he is here, and he also brought some prints. You can see them here. You can see the beautiful Ma'at there, or set, and this other artwork. And we have a very special, once in a lifetime opportunity. Where's she at? Where's the big? You tell me. I'll grab it. You can.
Oh no, he's busy. I'm sorry. It's over. Say a few words. Okay. Yeah. Hi, everybody. I've actually been I've been a commercial illustrator and artist for wow over 40 years now, and I've worked for various companies. I've done work for Marvel Comics, DC Comics, MTV, and what have you. But 1996, my life changed for the better because for those of you in the society, I'm Herokuhuti clan. And in Philadelphia at the time, there was a cult bookstore called The Hand of Aries. Okay. So I was getting interested in different things, and I would go to the store, and books would talk to me and tell me different things and stuff. And eventually, I ended up at the Hand of Aries. I'm telling them I want to get into Kabbalah. The guy there, Phil, he looks at me and he just looks at me for a minute. Then he turns, he grabs a copy of Medunitaire Volume 1, and he says, "Here, you may like this." And then he says something that is hilarious. He's like, "Yeah, this guy, he went and took Kabbalah and put an Egyptian spin on it." I was like, nah, yeah, that was flipped. so, so I read the first 110 pages that day. The top of my head blew off, and I was like, "Oh, I gotta get in with this." So I called New York. They're like, "Oh, you're in Philly? There's a place in Philly." I'm like, "Get out!" And I ran up to the head, and I've been here ever since. Yeah, yeah. Well, I need to. Don't show it yet. Oh.
So we're going to close with this. This is a magical night. It's 38 years since Osset gave the world the Medunitaire. And we just happened to look around and be like, how did we get an extra one of these?
Right, right.
So it's here tonight for somebody. So if you're interested, you can see us after for this one of a kind Osset portrait. All right, peace and blessings, everyone. Thank you so much. Okay, for book signing for Shechem Shechem, he's going to be seated over here. Hold on a moment. And I'm going to sit here for the, okay, there's a process.
Okay, there is a process to have your book signed. I said earlier, there's were post-it notes at the register. So when you purchase the book, you can get a post-it note and write what you would like Shechem or Shechem to order, who you would like Shechem or Shechem to autograph the book to. Someone will take the book and hand it to Shechem, and he will sign it. Or ORM Tutikamo will also be signing books, but he'll be sitting right here. I need a table for him so he can sign. It would be better if you print. It'd be better if you print your name on the post-it note. It'd be better if you print.
All right, you know my